it's go time, guys. It's time for our interview. So I would like to welcome Pedram from Frontier to Knotfest Daily. How are things going over there? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Alicia. It's really cool. Yeah, doing good, doing good. Trust my track to break the audio. It's classic us, right?
It's just that much of a banger, you know. We were playing it so loud, it just decided to break down the entire system. But I wouldn't expect
That's it.
anything less from you guys.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for sure.
As I mentioned, the release of your upcoming album Oxidized is on the horizon. So, how long has the actual record been finished for? And how pumped are you to finally just set this baby free into the universe?
I'm absolutely stoked for it to finally come out. Some of these tracks have been completed since like 2017, just before our second album came out. So it's been a kind of a long refinement process, and we really got the masters back sort of tail end of last year. So yeah, it's been a long time waiting for some of this stuff. So I'm really keen to kind of let it out there and see how it goes. Been totally insane so far, like based off one track. So who knows
Right.
what's going to come.
I couldn't imagine having something you put so much hard work into, so much effort, not just to mention time in general, and having to sit on it for so long, knowing how good it is. So, what does kind of run through your mind when you know you have something ready to go and you just have to wait until that exact release date?
All I can really do is sort of send it to like maybe really close friends or bounce ideas off Chad. Like me and him, we exchange like WhatsApp voice messages all the time. Like I'm really bad for voice notes. Like I basically exclusively communicate with the band in voice note now because my hands get crippled from typing all day. So I'll
Same.
get feedback from all the guys and do refinements based off whatever feedback comes back. So it's yeah, I'm really stoked to finally release it and hopefully get back to playing some shows.
Right, fingers crossed on that front. But you did mention before how it's been really interesting to see the reaction solely based off of one track. And it's really fun seeing the band just absolutely crushing it on something like Bandcamp, for instance, as you sold out of 500 LPs in the span of an hour. So when you saw that many, all of them, like sold out that quickly, what was the whole band's response? Because honestly, that's massive. That's amazing.
Yeah, like I was giving them kind of like live info and doing a countdown, just watching them fly away. So it's totally nuts, and we have a really dedicated, awesome fan group all over the world. Like we've got, I think most of our fans probably reside in the US, and we really want to come out there. But yeah, it's just been absolutely nuts. Couldn't believe it, and we've just recently repressed more, so there's going to be more coming
Awesome.
out coming out 3rd of September. We've got a repress up. Of another few LPs. So hopefully those last a bit longer, but you never know.
Right? I mean, hopefully they don't last longer. Those babies, I'm sure, will fly off the shelves just like those first ones.
That would be cool. That would be cool. But like every time, like every release we've put out, it's we're breaking expectations of our own and just seeing things like fly, and it's absolutely nuts, and it's such an adrenaline buzz as well. Like it's so cool releasing stuff and people really reacting to it.
Well, the single we were discussing and talking about now is Glacial Plasma. It's absolutely insane. And I know a big part of this release is about aftermath and recovery and just how you have to kind of rebrand as an oxidized shell of your former self, as you've kind of put it in the past. And I just think that's so lovely because no matter what kind of happens, you've got to move on. You have to grow. So, why is that theme or message so important to you along with the band members?
I think that's probably where Chad's lyrical writing kind of comes into it. I mean, I don't. I've done a bit of vocals on this record, but I
Mhm.
just sort of worked off the lyrical content that Chad kind of obviously put together. But in terms of the theme for me, I just really wanted something on this record that was much more material in terms of the vibe. I think our previous records have been quite guilty of having a single focus piece on the artwork, and this time around, I wanted something to be the cover not to just be like one thing, like a combination of elements.
Mhm.
So we're seeing that transpire through the different kind of projects we've got going on with the rest of the release. We've got some special edition stuff to put out as well, which kind of fits that vibe. And I guess it's on the face of it, it's quite robotic, right? Like the music sounds quite robotic, but there's a softer vibe in there, and
There's a
especially
lot
on
of
this
layers.
record. Yeah. There's more of that on this record, so I'm excited for people to hear that as well because there's a lot of stuff that we haven't done before that might surprise people.
I really love that you coined your music as noise terror. It's kind of the perfect description as it absolutely just blasts you as soon as you start listening to it. And it's intimidating, but in the best of ways. So, where did you originally kind of get that phrase and decide to coin it for the band sound?
I just came up like one day. I was just like, "Oh, how do I describe this?" And I was like, "Noise terror."
That's
That's
really
what's it. I actually think we did it. One of our designers, Mitchell, I think came up with that term when we threw together a t-shirt design. We had like a t-shirt design for one of the tours, and it had it on it. And I was like, "Yeah, that sticks. Let's keep that going forward." So yeah.
awesome. I love when it's something that organic and it just feels right. Now you've been running with it and you're going to continue to. It really does, though, summarize the band perfectly, which is strange, but I love how flawlessly I'm like, yep, that just makes sense.
Yeah, it's just no bullshit, full on
Yes.
100%. That's it.
Right. Well, of course, we're talking about your music and the love that went into it, but what originally got you actually into that more hardcore metal scene? Do you kind of remember a standout band or simply just a moment?
So it's kind of funny you mentioned that. So the first sort of heavy track that I was like
I know where it's going.
scared off was "Spit Out" by Slipknot, which
Mm,
I downloaded off Kazaa many a year ago. I downloaded the video and I watched it, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like this is scary." And recently with unfortunately the passing of Joey, I put that in like a dedication post about him. That video still creeps me out to this day. Like it's awesome. So definitely heavy Slipknot vibes. That's kind of where I started, and then progressed through to different bands, different genres and subgenres.
and I love hearing that because I was kind of telling you off camera before we went live. I love seeing your response to the first time that we happened to spin the single on our show here because the band just seems so genuinely excited. So the fact we actually have you on now and understanding, that was really your introduction into it being Slipknot and now having you here on this show, I think those full circle moments are the absolute best. So it's cool to have that insight.
Yeah, it's pure coincidence, but it's like I feel like everything with this band, things just happen on their own. Like you can't control it, you can't control that chaos. It just happens by chance, and here we are now. So who knows where we'll be in a few months? It's just riding the wave as it goes.
Well, when it comes to me, I could absolutely talk about music for forever, but of course, you do have other passions and loves. So, when you aren't performing, when you aren't putting this record together and playing guitar, what are some of your favorite pastimes or things to actually get down in?
So I'm a software engineer by day now. I recently kind of transferred my career over. So it sounds nerdy, but I like to code. I like to work on projects. I like to work on audio related projects as well. So building plugins and things. So I guess that you maybe count that as a pastime. I'm also like out walking constantly. Like every day I have to do like 20K walking. Like I'm out, and that's my thinking
It's
time, and
intense.
it's my thinking time, my listening time, and I listen and refine like my own music in my head as I'm kind of going out for walks, and I come back, change an idea, and then that's kind of how Frontier kind of evolves, is just from me going out and getting some fresh air and then coming back.
As easy as that. She kind of goes back to those simple moments, always making a really big one. So, that's wonderful.
Yeah, no, cool.
Well, Pedram, I want to say thank you very, very much for coming on here, for, just taking the time to discuss the upcoming album release and everything else. And people, by the way, are absolutely shocked at that 20K. I just got to point that out in the chat right now. It's like, what? 20K every day?
Yeah, yeah.
Was my thought right away. So, very impressive, along with the music. So, to everyone watching, this has been Pedram from Frontier. Of course, be sure to grab their upcoming new album, Oxidized. And until that drops, you can, of course, spin Glacial Plasma. Again, thank you so much, Pedram.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.